Call the Courthouse and Property Committee to session, and we have our chair, Julie Sanders. She's sick again, so she is absent, and Adam Thomas is working on the ambulance tonight, so I'll be filling in as chair. Commissioner Thompson, do you mind opening us up in a word of prayer?
Let's pray, please. Lord, we thank you for another week. Lord, thank you for those protection you've guided over the ones that needed protection, those that are out or needed something besides the weather. Lord, thank you for your guidance. Watch over this committee and watch over this government as we do county business. In Jesus' name, we pray. Amen.
Thank you. All righty, need minutes approval, so the approval of the December 19th Courthouse Property Committee meeting, minutes.
Approve. I make a motion to approve.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any public comments? All right, don't see any public comments. I know it's that time of year to elect a chair and vice chair. If it's okay with the group, just since we have two members absent, would y'all be opposed to deferring that to next month?
Absolutely.
You okay with that?
Do I need a motion to defer it
Yeah.
until next month?
We do.
Yeah,
I'll
go
make a
ahead.
motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. So, starting with our reports, the codes department. There we go. I don't see a report, zoning. Suzanne, do we know if we have a report on that? We don't see one in our packet. Codes? All right, if you wouldn't mind, just see if she could send that out to us over the next week or so. That'd be great. Oh,
She is out
Oh,
on,
she out?
she had a very serious accident
well, I didn't know
before
that.
Christmas, and she's been out on medical leave, and so,
I did not know that.
yeah, so hopefully she'll be able to return in a week or so.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, but absolutely, we'll keep her in our prayers for sure. All right, so moving on to planning and zoning.
All right. You guys have my report. Sorry for the delay in my November report. I was under the weather for quite a while there in that month. And also, I'm hearing a little bit weird because I've got some brand new hearing aids. I've only been wearing them for like 2 hours, so that was a little weird. But I'll get used to them. But anyway, the only thing I'd like to make a different comment on my report is that for months we've been talking about this comprehensive plan and when is this thing going to come to fruition. And I will say that as of Monday morning, I finally got another email from my engineer that I've been working with out of Nashville, and unfortunately, she sent me all sorts of stuff that I have to do. So anyway, they made a lot of progress over the last 3 months, and that's the last time I talked to them was 3 months ago, and they told me they were going to really try to push and try to get something to me in the next 3 months. And so, as they stated, they did get me something in 3 months, but unfortunately, now it's on me to get some things back to them, and it's going to take quite a bit of work to do that. But I did keep you guys in the loop. That is hopefully something we can get resolved soon.
So will that be, do we have like an estimated time of when you'll start the public comments and meetings again? Is that going to probably be in the summer or?
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, it's something we could actually start fairly soon. Again, it's just they have been so hard to get in touch with, and they're the ones that have to put them on. I lost the engineer that I had, the one that we had that first comment period with. And I mean, literally the week after that meeting, I lost her. And so then it took forever to get her replaced. And then, anyway, but then they were just so far behind on my plan. I mean, this is something we've been working on for quite a long time. And so I kind of held their feet to the fire 3 months ago, and I got a great response from the team because I got all the supervisors and everything involved, and they, for the first time, I think, had looked back on the record of the case and realized just how bad their employees have been working, responding to me. But it's just been a comedy of errors from COVID to just all this turnover with their company and things like that, it just seemed like as soon as I got somebody, then they would go to a different company, and then I'd get somebody replaced, and then they would go to, so anyway, I think we're on the right track. She sent me just a plethora of things that I need to work on my end and get back to them so they can complete the report. So I think right now it's in my ballpark, so.
Well, thank you for your hard work and staying on it. I know this is an important step in our county, and just appreciate your hard work and diligence to stay with it, because I know it's hard working with so many different vendors that we don't have control over. We're really at their mercy on some things. So. But thank you.
One other thing that I'd like to comment about, and I don't want to embarrass anybody out in the real world, but for a number of years, I've been having some major problems with principally one professional surveyor. And what that does is it puts a burden on principally me, because I do all the plat reviews, I do all the plan reviews, and so in my department, and so what happens is I have to look at these plats over and over and over again. So I reject the plat and this last one with this surveyor had 11 errors on it, which is unheard of for a professional surveyor. Sometimes, very rarely, I'll get one error and we'll talk about it on the phone and it'll fix it and then it's done. But some of these people, mostly one person, I might have to look at this thing 4 or 5 times. And I'll send very detailed responses and exactly how to correct it, and then I'll get it back and they'll fix 3 of the 11. And then I'll have to do it all over again. So I guess probably only reason why I'm saying this is be looking for, I think, a solution that's similar to what I did back when I still had codes department, where we had one inspector for a while was having a hard time hiring another inspector, and essentially everything was just booming. And we had, when the building industry is really vibrant and active, you'll have a lot of people get in the game that don't really know what they're doing. And so we end up, through the inspections process, we teach people how to do these jobs. And so that placed a huge burden on the codes department to try to keep up with codes, because they're inspecting things multiple times. They'll inspect it, fail it, come back, have to do another inspection, fail it again, do another inspection, fail it again, sometimes 6 or 7 times before they get it right. And what that does is it slows us down from taking care of somebody else who it does know what to do. So when you got a lot going on, it's a big deal. And the way we solved that in the codes department at the time is we just came up with a strategy where if a person submitted or asked for an inspection, it was the normal fee for an inspection. But if they failed it, you allow them to fail it one time and then go back for a reinspection without any additional cost. But if you fail it a second time, then there's a fee involved. And then if you fail it a 4th time, it's double that fee. The 5th time, you double that fee. And so we only do it like 4 times, and then it's pretty significant after that. But what that does is that really makes them not want to fail inspections. And what it does is, instead of calling, just saying, oh, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, I know my plumber probably went out there and fixed that situation, it actually gets them to call the plumber, hey, did you go out there and fix that before I call for another inspection? Because that's what that would happen. You go out there, the inspectors go out and try to inspect something that nobody had even resolved or even attempted to resolve. So I think what I probably want to do is I'll probably be coming back to you guys for a fee schedule amendment where I'll propose something like that, where surveyors would submit a plat, and that's a normal plat fee. And if it's rejected once, hey, so be it, that happens. And 99 times out of 10, that's all it is. They'll fail it once. But if they fail it a second time, then when they come back, they're going to have to bring another fee.
Do we have something similar in the codes department currently?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how we solved it. And it did solve the problem. We weren't really looking at it as a solution to raise more money. We were looking at it as a solution to make sure the inspection process went a lot smoother for everybody.
Well, if you're giving them a free opportunity to, if you make a small mistake, or, you're giving them that opportunity to be able to fix it, if they're continuing to come back and they're only fixing part of it, I could see where that would definitely cause struggles, so.
Yeah. And they're licensed professionals. They're licensed by the Department of Commerce Insurance, just like any other licensed professional in the state. And I will say, I did, for the very first time in 15 years, I filed an official complaint to the Board of Surveyors on this person for just some horrendous stuff. They were leaving customers out. One former commissioner that was building a project, couldn't get him to return his calls. He'd already paid him. He couldn't get the work done. He couldn't, for months and months and months, he just wouldn't return his calls. And so that was just one situation out of numerous situations and dozens of situations over the last decade or so. It's just gotten out of hand. I felt like, it's something that I'm not quick to do. I feel like most of the time we can show people what we expect of them, and we've got a set of rules that are printed, and this is exactly what you're supposed to do when you turn in a plat. This is exactly what you do if you're a developer and you're turning in a subdivision plat. They all have these published rules. It's just not rocket science, but when we're going to the effort to give them detailed explanations of how do you resolve this, and you still don't get it, and it takes you 3 or 4 more times to get it right. I mean, it's just taking a lot of our manpower, a lot of our time and efforts, and So anyway, just giving you a heads up on that.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? Thank you, Chris. All right, IT department?
You should have a copy of my report. And I didn't have anything to add to the report other than during the days that we were off, that we had several people that needed remote access to their machines, and we're able to support that. And even though the weather's around, we can be reached by phone, and we try to make sure the emergency offices and administrative offices have resources available to do their work during storms, and even when we're not in session. So that worked out really well this time around. We didn't have any problems. No water issues, no pipes bursting, no frozen pipes this time, so we escaped that catastrophe this time around. But I didn't have anything else to add unless you guys have any questions for us.
I talked to Josh today on the phone, and I just want to give kudos to his department. The AV stuff in this room and in the commission room, they've been able to do a professional job of really being able to stream these meetings. I've heard several people in the public that have, really enjoyed the quality and the clarity of it, and he did it in a very small budget. And so I think that, that your department, along with all your employees, definitely deserve a pat on the back for the hard work you're doing, so thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you. All right, fire department.
You also have a copy of my report. I don't have anything to add to the report, but I will tell you that we have taken delivery of the air packs, or SCBAs as we call them, that we got on the federal grant. We're in the process now of 4 pieces to each one of them, and they all got a embedded chip in them that has to be scanned, and then it goes into a database, and then we put it in a spreadsheet so we can get it in our inventory. So we're in that process, and you think when you go to the grocery store, you know how it is when you put your card in the machine, you don't read it right every time, do it 2 or 3 times and put a bag over. Well, we're having to do the same thing, but we'll get there. So
What brand did you
hopefully,
end up getting? What brand did you end up getting?
MSA
Okay.
brand. There's not but 3 companies that even make them anymore. So, and the company, we had Survivor. That was a brand. They were bought out by Honeywell, and Honeywell was bought out by somebody else, and so they don't even make what we have anymore. So, we've got 112 of them. Every one of them got 2 bottles, batteries. They're battery operated. They're fully electronic, smart air packs, you might say. I don't know about the ones wearing them, but okay. But anyway, I'll be one of them probably. But like I say, we're in the process of getting that inventoried, and we're taking, right now, the past 3 days, we're taking classes on them. The manufacturer sends an instructor down, and he trains us called Train the Trainer, and I know Drew's familiar with that, so that we can carry it to the volunteer departments and train them on how to use it, because it's totally different from what we're used to these days. And so that's, like I say, getting them all identified and getting them deployed, and then getting all of our old stuff turned back in. And the federal government hasn't told us what we can do or what we should do with our old. They're probably going to say destroy them. I don't know, but they can tell you exactly what they want you to do with your old equipment. So we'll cross that bridge at some point. But
I was talking to Ronnie, and y'all are getting a new cascade system out at Station 7, is that correct?
yes, we got that on a grant. There is some other things that are coming about that I'm not privy to talk about at this time. So, but yes, yeah, that'll give us 4 cascade compressor systems in the county. So,
And that's unheard of. I mean,
and
a
so
lot of
that
counties
just
don't.
means that we don't have to take the air bottles that we wear on our backs and run all over the county. You know, we've got them in districts now where they're more convenient to fill up and get air. And they're only good for, they say 45 minutes, but truly you only get about 30 minutes air out of them. And then you're rotating bottles, or somebody's going and filling them up. We also have a mobile unit that Scott helped me get through a FEMA grant one time. And so we've got good capabilities there.
Yeah, I mean, rural communities like this, I mean,
We're,
they just
we're-
don't have cascade systems that prevalent. And so that's just another testament to how hard y'all are working, putting this together and getting grants. And so thank you for the hard work.
And then,
because-
you know, I will touch a little bit on last week's weather. It was challenging for everybody, especially for us, you know, with those heavy fire trucks. And we did have one call where a car was flipped upside down. People were trapped in it. Fire truck was parked off the shoulder of the road, one set of tires, and it started sliding toward the wrecked car, which was in a 40-foot drop-off. And everybody had to vacate the vehicle that we were working on in fear of that truck sliding off and rolling off on top of it. Luckily, it stopped. 2 hours later, we got that truck out. Nobody was in it, you know. It was scotched, just like we were supposed to do, you know, but it was challenging, you know, with that ice out there. And nobody, like I say, our trucks have what we have called automatic tire chains. They're mounted under the truck. But the snow and ice had built up around the axle where these chains were mounted, broken airline, and so they wouldn't deploy. So, and that's, I mean, it's just part of the nature of the beast that we don't see a whole lot around here, but we got hit hard last week, and like everybody else, we had some broken water lines. So, but other than that, I mean, we survived pretty good, I think.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Just while we're talking about it, I mean, I was privileged enough to be able to down in Bell Buckle through the weekend to help Chief Loki and Mayor Loki and Mark with the water department, but also communicating about the emergency services and things going on throughout the county, and the dedication that y'all showed, because while we're sitting at home in the warm, y'all are out running calls, you know, providing those services across the county. And again, just the dedication of everybody that we've seen across the county that really put a lot of time and effort into protecting the community, providing water for the community, and doing everything. And I applaud y'all for the work you do, and just thank you. And please relay that to your firefighters, that we appreciate everything they're doing.
And I will, and let me just carry that a little bit further. All of our county departments work very well together. I mean, it's just totally amazing to me when you see catastrophe happen, whether it's in the department or through our community, and even the citizens that we serve come out and help us. I mean, it's truly amazing that the people that are out there that's not affiliated with the department, is a volunteer or paid, how everybody comes together to help. Bedford County is really unique. And you say, well, IT department's very important. Finance office plays a big part. They were coming in getting us POs, even though everybody was shut down. If we still have equipment that breaks down, you have to go get parts and stuff like that. And we do everything by POs, you know, and nothing wrong with that. But everybody comes together to make sure that we get the job done for the people we serve. And like I say, our citizens out here, how it's just truly amazing to see them bring their tractors and four-wheel drive trucks and help everybody. Tow truck drivers, I had to borrow what they call a snatch block. It's a big hook with a pulley in it. I didn't have one big enough to pull that fire truck out of that ditch, so record driver brought me one. They wouldn't bring a record because the road was too slick. So we borrowed theirs, and like I say, everybody comes together to help people, and I'm proud of Bedford County for that.
And on that note, Bell Buckle contacted Mike's Auto, the wrecker service, and he drove to town and got 6 pallets of water and brought it out there to have it ready in case they ran out of water. I mean, you're right. We're very lucky to live in the county we live in and have the citizens that we have and the county employees that we have. And it just shows in times of need like that. So, but thank you for those kind words for the county. So, all right, the E911 reports in your packet. Any questions on that? All right, GIS.
Not too much to add to the printed report. I stayed busy from home last week, announcing closings and schedules and fielding. We had one person messaged us on Facebook, complaining about their mail delivery, and it's like, well, we'll get right on that. But other than that, the written report is there. I will be out of the office next week. I'm having a kidney stone procedure. It was supposed to have been done last week, but for some reason they weren't doing elective procedures last Wednesday. But I'll be out for a couple days with that. And we did use the newsletter mailing list. We did use that for some of the closing announcements last week, and that seemed to work well to do that. We try not to overdo that. We try not to flood people with email because then they unsubscribe from the list. But I think it was appropriate to use that. I think we used it 3 times last week to announce closures. So.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for doing the NOMA live. It's been requested by the ladies.
I have really been enjoying it. I've had 2 sessions, and Zoe was actually the one that kind of halfway responsible for me doing it. She was the one that mentioned it to me. But I've had 2 sessions so far, and it's just been really rewarding. They've been very receptive, and I hated to miss it this past Friday. So, but I think that's going to be a good thing. So.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you, John. All righty. Can I have a motion to approve the reports? Got a motion, second. All in favor? Aye. All right. Don't see any other reports. Any old business? It's not on here, but we do have just at least a mention to y'all because I'm going to be working with the mayor on some. I made a request prior to the start of the storm. We were getting concerns about not being able to find a warm shelter for the homeless. And so I made a request to the mayor about potentially utilizing the RC COLA, the old, where we used to do surplus. There were some concerns about safety, and so he wants to do some investigation on that first and kind of letting some people look at it before we can even entertain it. So I just wanted to keep y'all aware of it, that I am going to be working with him on that. And if we think that we can move forward with anything, I'll bring it back to this group and get your thoughts on that. So again, it's probably not going to be something we can do, but it's at least something I want to entertain, because if we can have something in an emergency situation like that to where we can open on a quick notice. It's at a perfect location because it's within walking distance of where most of them are at. And so that's kind of where that is. And so just wanted to make you aware of that. So, all right, any other new business? Any announcements? All right, motion to adjourn?
So moved.